What's up, everybody? Good afternoon on this still Victory Tuesday. We're going to call it Victory Tuesday because the Seahawks did get their win last night. And I know I said in the video this morning that we probably weren't going to get a lot of injury updates this week because we don't have a game on Sunday. But I guess nobody told Mike Macdonald that because he did actually give us some updates about an hour ago concerning several currently injured Seahawks. And we should talk about this for a little bit because while we're not getting anything definite or concrete, we are getting some pretty positive news. At the very least, I think we can say most of this is good news. So we got a tweet from John Boyle on screen here, and this all comes from Mike Macdonald's press conference a little bit ago. So let's talk about it a little bit and go through it. It's pretty much all good news, at least I would classify it as that. First, though, 60 seconds. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. All right, welcome back. So Mike Macdonald talked a little bit with the media. This is probably going to be about the last thing we hear from him for a little while because of the bye week. But he did say that he fully expects, and I know we can't take anything as a guarantee. I thought it was pretty much guaranteed we were going to get at least some of these guys back with yesterday's game. But he did more or less assure people that we would be getting back at minimum 3 injured players after the bye week. Devin Witherspoon, Julian Love, and Derek Hall. And those are the 3 really big ones, I think. Those are the 3 ones that I think everybody wants back because those 3 players are very good. And I think they're also significant upgrades over what we've had out there the last couple of weeks without them. And is that saying something for this defense? The fact that they played so well the last 2 games despite missing that crew. So Devin Witherspoon, I don't think I need to explain why the last several weeks have proved his value. Like, you take a look at that Tampa Bay game in particular, and there's just a massive, massive difference between Devin Witherspoon and every other corner on this team behind him and Woolen. And with the way things are going right now, I don't know. I think it's possible that we might see a situation where we rock with Woolen and Witherspoon as our outside corners in all situations. And then Eamon Worry just becomes our full-time nickel in all situations as well. And Josh Jobe gets kind of pushed to the bench, a reserve role where he doesn't really do all that much. I know that Jobe has obviously had some good moments since arriving in Seattle. I liked him last year. I liked him earlier this season. But I think there have also been some moments this year where you look at him and you go, you see the deficit in talent from him to the actual better corners on this team. And that includes Woolen, who, as much as Woolen has had problems this year, I think that over the last month or so, we have learned he is still much better than a guy like a Josh Jobe. He just has more talent. There's much more upside. And while he hasn't been terrible, I can't help but notice these opposing teams, when they drop back to pass against the Seahawks, they really go after Jobe. And Jobe holds up okay. I'm not here to say that he's getting completely lit up most of the time, but I do think that there is something to learn there. They view him as the guy who can be attacked. And the last couple of weeks, it's he's held up fine, but I am starting to wonder if maybe we just decide, you know what? It's Witherspoon, it's Woolen, and then Eamon Worry's the full-time nickel. I'm interested to see if that ends up being the case, because I know that Witherspoon is a very good nickel corner, and I know that a lot of people really want to make sure he gets those reps in there, but it might be a better use of our talent to get Witherspoon on the outside full-time going forward. Julian Love, that one kind of goes without saying. I know Ty Okada has played okay the last couple games, and last night you might even say he played good. I actually thought Ty Okada played a nice little game last night, but Julian Love is the leader back there. Julian Love is a veteran. Julian Love, very good player. And look, just because the last two games have been really good doesn't change the fact that things like the Tampa Bay game still happened, right? I know that we are a couple of weeks removed from it. That game still happened, and we can't forget it. So I do think there's a significant bump up from there. Derek Hall is a player who I think has redefined what he is as a player this year really well. He's been an effective pass rusher. I know he doesn't have sacks yet, but I think he's been very effective getting to and affecting the quarterback. And you also have what he's doing as a run defender, which I think has been a big positive and a significant improvement over last year and the year before, obviously. So when I look at getting him back versus giving all these snaps to a guy like Boye Mafe and all these snaps to an older player like a DeMarcus Lawrence and Uchenna Nwosu, those guys are good too. But I think this defense gets a lot better when you can get a full rotation out there that doesn't involve Mike Morris, who, while I appreciate Mike Morris and what he's doing, just is not on the same level as those players. So on top of those three guys, Robbie Oots could be back as well, although Macdonald seemed a little less sure there. He indicated there could be a little bit of a ramp up where maybe he misses one more game, which, look, our running game benefits from having him out there. I think we've also kind of learned that the hard way the last few weeks. But at the same time, if he needs another week, then we can give him another week. So I'm totally open to whatever needs to happen there. But one thing we've learned over the last month, I think, is that Brady Russell is not really capable of being a fullback the way we need him to be. And Robbie Oots provides something that no other player on this team can. We've seen a couple guys kind of try to replicate what he does. And I'm not saying that Robbie Oots was playing perfect, but he does stuff that we just can't get anywhere else. And we need it right now because we're not running the ball consistently enough. And having a guy like him can definitely make all the difference there. Christian Haynes, he also, Mike mentioned Christian Haynes getting closer to a return. Now, I would not get my hopes up here. Christian Haynes has shown multiple times now that he does not have the strength to cut it at right guard, and it doesn't seem like he's good enough at snapping the ball to be center. And those are the only two places he can play, center or right guard. As bad as Anthony Bradford has been, as bad as Anthony Bradford looks like he will continue to be, I still actually think he's going to be better than Haynes just because Haynes doesn't have that right guard muscle. And there's just no... I feel like Christian Haynes is just kind of a guy without a position. Maybe he could be left guard, but we're not going to mess around with Zabel right now. So I don't think there's much to say about Christian Haynes except that he's going to be a backup, and I guess he's better than what we have right now, Mason Richmond. But Christian Haynes, I don't think he's going to come in here and save this offensive line with his play. And a final injury update from Macdonald was Riley Mills, who, according to him, is 4 to 6 weeks away. So 4 to 6 weeks away. Let's say it's 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks would be 5 games because we have the bye week. So we're currently 7 games into the season. So Riley Mills could theoretically come back for the last 5 games of the year. And this is a team that is already kind of... They're pretty busy at the 3-tech spot, and Riley Mills is a 3-tech. He's not a nose tackle. I don't view him that way at all. I'd be very surprised if this team views him as a nose tackle. So here's the question. What does he do in those last 5 games of the year? Maybe he plays like 15 snaps a game and takes a little bit of the load off of guys like Big Cat and Murphy and Reed and lets them have a little bit more energy for the postseason. I think that's feasible. I think that's on the table here. At the same time, though, we're probably going to need to win those last 5 games. Let's say maybe we'll be in a really good spot by then, but in this division, we're probably going to need to win those games. So we're going to feel obligated to get our best guys on the field at all times. So I'm not sure. I still kind of look at Riley Mills as being a red shirt. I know a lot of people have been asking about him. But for me personally, I kind of just pretend he's not on the team right now. And that's not to say I'm down on him as a player. I think that he's going to be a good player in this league. I think that that was a fair pick for the future because Jaron Reed's not going to be here forever. Leonard Williams is going to fall off eventually. But for me personally, Riley Mills can't do a lot for this 2025 Seahawks team. But it looks like he will have a chance. And maybe he'll be able to take the load off of the guys in the middle here because even though we're playing great right now, I'm very aware of the fact that guys like Big Cat and especially Reed are older. And if you lean too heavily on them, they won't have much left for the postseason. Okay, so that is it for that. One player that he didn't mention, you might notice, would be Jonathan Hankins. So I have no idea what's going on there. I'm just going to say that right now because people ask about Jonathan Hankins sometimes. And, I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I think that he could actually add a little something to this defense, but it's almost like he doesn't exist. Nobody talks about him anymore. He's unpersoned. I don't know what to say about it, but that's about the best I got. All right. More videos coming later. See you guys soon. Go Hawks. And yeah, those are your injury updates. Probably all we're going to get this week.